everybody is talking about Steam Deck and ROG Ally. Some of you know I made my transition back to PC gaming about a year and a half ago, which it's been great. I've been loving it, so forth and so on. So I knew that I was going to be in the market to get a handheld. And some of you know, for the longest time, I wanted a Nintendo Switch. But since making that transition to PC gaming, I now have a pretty extensive PC library. So with stuff like the Steam Deck and now the ROG Ally, which is the next like known thing. There's plenty of them out there. There's the OK Zoe, Win PD. There's so many handhelds, PC handhelds out in the market. But for right now, if you know, I am a big Asus, I wouldn't say fanboy, but I was a supporter because when I used to build PCs a lot, I would, for reliability, choose Asus over a lot of other manufacturers. I've done builds with Ace Rock, MSI, Gigabyte, but back then, if you wanted reliability, you wanted Asus. But as you know, if some of you watched the J2 Cents video like I did, Asus lately, their reliability hasn't been as good since going into the new 5th gen motherboards and so forth. So, is that why I really got a Steam Deck? No, that's not why I really got a Steam Deck. I have a couple of reasons why I did decide to get a Steam Deck. One of the reasons is price point. So, I was able to get my Steam Deck for a fraction of the price of a ROG Ally. So think about it. If you're getting the high end or even the low end ROG Ally, low end ROG Ally is $499, whereas the high end is $699. The low end Steam Deck is $399. Now, yes, on the high end, it's the same price, but the Steam Deck has also been out for a while. And you know what I'm about to say, guys, because if you know me, I'm all about the used market. So, my Steam Deck cost me $475. I got a mid-tier model. It's a Steam Deck with 256 and came with the case. The things that I did have to buy a dock and a SD card, but I got me a Steam Deck. I can play some. I know a lot of people are like, well, I want to play all my PC library on the go. And I'm going to preface this. Me being a former esports player, dude, if I'm going to do esports, I might as well have a gaming laptop with me, stuff like that. If I'm going to be like diehard serious, sit down and not do anything. But on the go, I feel like it's all about single player experience. And that's why I'm really liking about the Steam Deck. I can sit back, kill some of my backlog of single player games that I used to enjoy and love. Like right now, I'm really grinding on Bloodstained, but also equally, I'm playing Street Fighter 6. So when I get to those points where it's like stopping point, it's like, all right, take out your frustration on Street Fighter 6. And I'm loving it. But I'm also loving the deck for other reasons. So I am loving the deck, not just for the portability and form factor and everything, but I love the fact that I have a Plex server and I can run this thing, go to desktop mode, fire up Plex home theater, and just connect to my Plex server at home and just watch what I want to watch. And I've been getting great battery life out of my Steam Deck, by the way. A lot of people talk about the Steam Deck, you can get about 2 hours depending on TDP. And I'm going to be honest, I was able to watch an episode of Strange New Worlds and a movie before I got the low power mode come up. Now, I understand doesn't a movie doesn't take up as much TDP, but that's my whole point. The use case is depending on what you're doing. If I'm sitting there and relaxing, I was like, all right, I'm not gaming, I just want to watch stuff, you get great power level out of it. Now, with gaming, I would say it depends. Like Bloodstain, I do get about sometimes 2.5 hours on of it. And I'm running it at a TDP of 8, trying to get that sweet spot instead of running max TDP of 15, which it's great. It's good for that. So I love it. But I need to get back to price point for a second. I realized I started to tangent on, hey, yeah, I love the Steam Deck for this, but I didn't talk about my main concern about why I chose the Steam Deck versus ROG Ally. So at $399, you can get the base Steam Deck, 64 gigs, so forth. And the reason why I got the 1 gig card is because I did my research and I read a lot of people that said, dude, don't buy a 256, don't buy a 512 Steam Deck. Yes, you can upgrade and all that, but to be honest, you can run everything off of the SD card. So when I got this thing, I put it to the test. I moved everything off the 256 internal NVMe drive, and I put everything on that 1 terabyte SD card. And boy, can confirm you can run everything off the SD card. Street Fighter 6 runs perfectly. Bloodstain runs perfectly. What else that I've tested on it? I've tested a couple other games. Takeover runs pretty well. I've also went ahead and put Emulation Station on it, and I've been going back and playing some Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, because your boy is all about Third Strike. Runs fine. So between AAA games, indie games, and emulation, I've had no problem with running everything off of an SD card, which is great. So the reason why I say that is if you really want a Steam Deck, get the base model and buy you such a big SD card and you're good to go. I know some people are like, but dude, I can save me some money and get a Switch and all that and be good. Yes, you can save some money, get you a Switch Lite for $200, but then you gotta buy games and stuff like that. Whereas this, I'm buying the hardware and I got all my games, which is great for that. Now, what is the contingency between the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally? Well, my contingency is this. I like the hardware. I like that you got a newer AMD Zen chip. But I have two contingencies. One, price point. If you're going $499, which is $500, or even the high end at $699, what stops you at this point, the price wise? What stops you from grabbing a gaming laptop? Because I'm gonna be honest, you can buy a gaming laptop at $699. If you shop around used market, you might be able to find a gaming laptop at $499. It won't be this year's model, but it might be like 2 years, maybe 3 years old, but still a gaming laptop. So you really have to ask yourself, do you really want to play your whole library, deal with Windows on a handheld versus a gaming laptop, which will be a lot easier at that price point? And I, not in good conscience, could say, hey, I'm going to spend that much money to have a handheld where legitly I can have a gaming laptop. Now, you know me, I got a gaming desktop too that I paid, well, now since upgrades, more than that, but originally less than that. Also, you can build your gaming PC for less than that and do content creation. So at the price point of the ROG Ally, I'm kind of like, there's other options that I can go for. However, I commend Asus for bringing the price down on the Windows handhelds, because before, let's be honest, okay, Zoe, a lot of the other PC handheld manufacturers, the price point has always been $1,000 and up, and can't justify that. And that's why the Steam Deck is great, and it's still great. I know a lot of people are like, well, I want the ROG Ally for 1080p screens, stuff like that, the extra power. I get all of that. I understand everything you said. Exactly. Everything. But at the end of the day, I don't want a second device that I have to worry about blue screens on. And maybe it's also me because I've been a big open source and Linux advocate for the long time. I've been on the Ubuntu game since day one, and now dabbling with a lot of different Linux operating systems and all that. I love that the Steam Deck, it's just a console-like experience out the gate, and you really don't really have to think about it. So think about it. If I was to hand a brand new Steam Deck to a little kid, they can get it set up and go right away. If you was to hand a ROG Ally to a kid, they could not set that up right away. And that's another contingency point for me. It's like, dude, anybody can use a Steam Deck. Not anybody can run a ROG Ally. Now, don't get me wrong. Once it's set up, it's good to go. You can sit down, play, use Armory Crate, and all of that, and it's great. And I know some of you are like, oh, you probably never even touch a ROG Ally. False! I went to Best Buy a week before launch, and they had the ROG Ally set up. And I went there once by myself to try it out and play it. I played some F1 racing. I really like the hardware. I like that the form factor is a little bit smaller than the Steam Deck, but a little bit bigger than the Switch. It's kind of like in between. And it feels great. I wish the D-pad is a little bit better, but that's because, I'm a fighting game fan. And I also like the fact that the ROG Ally allows you to use an eGPU. Now, technically, you can run an eGPU on the Steam Deck, but it's kind of convoluted. It's not like a normal. I watched a video of someone showing how you can run an eGPU on that. It's not as easy as plug and play, but there's still a workaround. But I digress. So I like the fact that out of gate, Asus has thought of, hey, ways how people are going to use the ROG Ally and how they're going to extend it and all that. So down the line, maybe I might get a ROG Ally if I can find one for a decent price. But for right now, Steam Deck handles everything I need, want, and it's great. I play some single player experience titles that I don't need to be online for. I play old emulation titles that I used to play back in the day and I still love till this day. And I use it as a nice travel dock experience to watch my library from my Plex server. It's perfect. Now, granted, I can't do content creation on it. Now, if I am going somewhere and I need to create content, well, guess what? The the deck might not come with me. I'll bring a laptop with me. Unfortunately, that's just the way how it goes. But if I'm just going somewhere for a couple of days or a week, I don't need to make content. I don't need to really do die hard work. Maybe like check emails and all that. Yo, desktop mode handles that. I can check my emails, maybe type out a simple document, so forth, so on, and I'm good. So at the end of the day, it's just matters of what you are looking for. So for me, the Steam Deck handled my use case. But I know for some of you, you might want the ROG Ally. And I'm not knocking you if you want the ROG Ally. It's great. But I know some of you, your use case may vary. And I don't hate the ROG Ally. As like I said before in this video, I'm an Asus fan. So I think the ROG Ally is great, even though the ROG Ally has been having problems with SD cards. I read about it in the news recently. So if you're going to try to do the same thing that I did with the Steam Deck, your mileage may vary. But okay, that's it, everybody. I hope you like this video. Give me a like if you like this. Go ahead and click subscribe if you want more stuff like this where I'm talking about such gaming hardware. I might start doing some gaming benchmarks. Of course, you've seen I've been doing builds lately. I'm trying to switch it up a little bit on the channel. And next time, I might talk about this little guy. I've talked about it on the channel before, but I got one recently from Goodwill for $3. And as you can see, I already modded it with the bat stick. So yeah, I've been having a blast, like running Steam Deck, hardware, and accessories. So it's all good. Until next time, guys, peace, love, stay gaming, my friends.